Hey, Viking Nation, it's Miss Anna, and I'm here with First Pages Friday. This past Saturday, was the 20th anniversary for the attacks of 9/11. And I'm here going to read you Ground Zero, a novel of 9/11 by Alan Gratz. And this was such a good book. It is a historical fiction book, so it has some true facts in it. But it is fictional. These characters are fictional. But he did a lot of research and he wrote a story about it. It also has in the back of the book, it has about this many pages of information from his research and from his stories that he found and that tell actual facts from that day. And so I'm going to read a part of the book for First Pages Friday. I'm not actually reading at the beginning. I picked a middle of the page book to read. A Hole in the World. Brandon stood on the broken edge of the World Trade Center, looking straight out into the bright blue September sky. Strong winds whipped his hair around his face, and burning papers fluttered down from somewhere above him. Exposed electric wires sparked in the shredded off walls. Brandon backed up against the stairwell door, his breath hitching in his throat. To his left and right, what was once an interior wall was now the outside wall of the North Tower. Below him, the Brooklyn Bridge stretched out across the East River, as tiny as the model train set. He was almost 1,000 feet in the air. But this time, there was no window between him and the open sky. The wet napkin Brandon had tied around his face whipped away into the sky in one long stride, and he would join it, falling forever and ever and ever. Brandon's brain couldn't handle what he was seeing, and he sank, shaking to what was left of the floor. He knew he should move, go back inside, but he was paralyzed with fear. The ledge he sat on followed the wall in both directions, but it was only 3 feet deep. He stared, horrified at the emptiness around him. There should have been walls here, cubicles, desks, copiers, fax machines, water fountains, people. But there was no one. There was nothing. And in his mind, Brandon kept seeing himself sliding off the edge and falling 89 stories to the ground. He tried not to think about it, but it was all he could do to think about it. First his feet would go over, then his legs. He imagined himself clawing and grabbing at the carpet, sobbing, desperate not to go over the side. He couldn't fall, but the pull of gravity was too much. He was too high up to resist. Over the ledge he would go, and that terrible, often sinking feeling as he fell backward, arms flailing, legs churning. There was nothing to grab onto, nowhere left to stand. He was disconnected from the earth, from everywhere he had ever known, and then the ground would come up rushing closer and closer until Brandon's eyes jerked open. His heart thundered in his chest, and every inch of him quivered. Like when he woke with a start from a nightmare, he was still sitting on the floor. He hadn't moved. He hadn't fallen. But he was going to if he stayed here much longer. The wind was a living thing up here, pushing and pulling at him like a cat playing with a toy. Brandon had to get up, and he had to get out. The whole 89th floor was gone. Will Brandon get out of the World Trade Center before it collapses? What will happen to him? If you want to find out, check out Ground Zero from the library today. I hope you guys have a great Friday, and I'll see you guys again next week.